I could never really bring myself to become a real fan of Allen Iverson, the basketball player, because in the end, he was mostly a solo act. He was, as I often called him, me, myself, and Iverson.
Today's video is something that has become a highly debated topic in modern NBA discussions. As crazy as it sounds, Allen Iverson himself has become a topic of dissension. If you were alive to see him play during his prime, then you probably don't question the greatness of the answer, as he was spectacular to many of us with his insane speed, crossover dribbles, remarkable stamina, and his absolute relentlessness when attacking the basket. Many of us fondly remember his legendary 2000 to 2001 MVP campaign, where he took the league by storm, made an improbable run to the NBA Finals, and even defeated the previously unbeaten Shaq and Kobe Lakers in Game 1, where he dropped 48 points, which was capped off with one of the most iconic moments in basketball history. The thing is, Iverson isn't often thought of as fondly by the younger, more modern fans. To some people, he seems to get extra points for the fact that he was part of a cultural movement, and was arguably the coolest player in the entire league. They'll say, sure, he might have been a star for the camera, but was he purely, truly as good of a hooper as advertised? Or is it just exaggerated by enamored fans from that era? The way the basketball community analyzes players has changed over the years. And now, so much of the game is evaluated through the lens of analytics. This, unfortunately, was not the strongest or most timeless aspect of Iverson's game, as he was a career 42.5% shooter from the field, which was just 51.8% in terms of true shooting percentage. To many fans nowadays, efficiency is everything. And when Allen Iverson was named the league's MVP in 2001, he was shooting only 42% from the field that season. For some perspective, among MVP winning seasons, that is the second worst field goal percentage in NBA history, trailing only Bob Cousy in 1957, who shot 37.8% from the field. So already, some people will be critical of Iverson's MVP season, seeing that he was very clearly a volume scorer by the standards of most NBA seasons. But that part is critical. I said most NBA seasons. That's because in 2001, the NBA was in the middle of what's called the dead ball era, where the pace of play was much slower as the offensive rules were much stricter, and defenses were permitted to do more things physically. This resulted in an era with lower scoring and lower field goal percentages league-wide. Over the last 3 seasons in the NBA, the league average has been 47.2% from the field. And that high percentage is even with the inflation of three-point shots, as they're attempting 3 times the amount of threes they shot in 2001. And in Iverson's MVP season, the league was shooting an average of 44.3%. which is actually the 4th lowest of any season since the NBA merger. It wasn't just Iverson who experienced a very low field goal percentage that season, but many All-Star players did. For example, trailing Iverson as the league's second leading scorer was Jerry Stackhouse, who averaged nearly 30 points per game on only 40.2% shooting. Jason Kidd was 4th in the MVP voting, and he shot just 41.1%. Antoine Walker was a star player who finished 11th in the league in scoring, and he shot just 41.3%. As you can see, it's not incredibly uncommon for star players to shoot the same or even a worse field goal percentage than Allen Iverson did at that time. Also then consider that Iverson was the league's leader in field goal attempts per game, at a whopping 25.5. And it is analytically proven that players generally shoot the ball less efficiently as their attempts per game increases. Then you need to consider the load that Allen Iverson had to carry for his team offensively. Even with Iverson on the team, the 76ers finished that season in the bottom half of the league in terms of points per game. The answer contributed the highest percentage of his team's points of any player that season, and no one else was even close. Now, I'm not trying to spin Allen Iverson into some sort of model of efficiency, but when you consider the era, his volume, the load that he had to carry offensively, and the way the defenses focused on him specifically, well then it's no wonder that he was able to win the league MVP despite shooting just 42% from the field. And if people are trying to make the point that 2001 Allen Iverson was quote overrated due to his lower percentages and overstated impact, then that theoretically should have revealed itself when his team played without him. Well, that wasn't the case. Iverson's 76ers had a 56-26 record that season and made it all the way to the NBA Finals. But in the 12 games that Iverson didn't play that year, his team was only 6-6. And in those contests, they were only averaging 87.5 points per game, meaning that they were the worst offense in the entire league that season when Iverson did not play. So yeah, a number 1 seed and an NBA Finals appearance with Iverson, and a .500 record and the league's worst offense without Iverson. Try calling that overrated. Now let me make this clear. Allen Iverson did not carry this team all by himself, because one of the aspects of this squad that never gets enough credit is their defense. Starting the year at the center position was the 6'10 rim protector Theo Ratliff, who led the NBA in blocked shots that season at a monstrous 3.7. After just 50 games into that regular season, he was traded away for another all-time great rim protector in Dikembe Mutombo, who did go on to win the Defensive Player of the Year award that season. Their shooting guard, Aaron McKie, finished in the top 20 in defensive plus-minus. And yes, even Allen Iverson deserves some credit for this defense, as he may have not been the greatest on-ball defender, but he was great in the passing lanes and did lead the league in steals per game that season, averaging an impressive 2.5 per game. Make no mistake, they were a top 5 defense in 2001, and that was an accomplishment by committee. But in terms of their offense, there's no question that Iverson did a lot of carrying for this squad that season, and without him, their hopes of making the playoffs would have been bleak, let alone the NBA Finals and snapping the streak of one of the greatest undefeated juggernauts in playoff history. I truly believe that when anyone calls Allen Iverson overrated, it's just a perfect example of someone who places too much of their logic in surface level stats and box scores, rather than putting their trust in basketball's most important aspect for evaluation, the eye test. So what do you guys think? Was Allen Iverson's 2001 MVP season overrated? Or do these kids just like to make noise? I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, shout out to those of you who decided to sign up for memberships. There's a link to the pinned comment if you're interested in joining. But to those of you who have signed up, you guys might seriously be saving this channel, and I'm more grateful than I can possibly put into words. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.